Hello and welcome along. So you're probably looking at the title of this and thinking, what's all this about? Some of you may remember I used to have a photography podcast, the Cheapshot Photography Podcast. A comment that was made on not my last video on this channel, but the video before, the previous video. Comment was left by Andrew Walton Photography. Hi Andy, thanks for dropping the comment. He mentioned, have I thought about reviving the podcast? There's a bit of a trend at the moment for people releasing podcasts on YouTube, and in fact I do know a couple of people that have done that, or are doing that, should I say. I've been giving it a bit of thought, and I think it might be a good idea, particularly because I can quite easily record an episode if I haven't got time to go out and do a vlog, or if it's not particularly good outside for going out with the camera, i.e. if it's tipping down, etc. I can actually record a podcast and release that on YouTube. So I'm thinking it might be a good idea. I've also then got the opportunity of inviting others along for a chat, so I could have guests on the podcast as I did previously. I've been thinking about it, and I think it might be a good idea. So I thought I'd do a little quickie episode, get your thoughts, see what you reckon. Obviously Andy thinks I've got a good face for radio, so so you never know, it might be worth me doing. I think it'd be a good little exercise just to see what the feedback is and see how we get on. So this is a sort of, if you like, revived Cheapshot Photography Podcast episode. Let me know your thoughts. Also, whilst I'm here, you may have seen the previous video. I was talking about a project that we can all take part in, and the title was March in Motion. If you've managed to capture some images that show motion, please email them to me. It'd be great to have a look at them and include them in a future video, and maybe even have a chat with you regarding the pictures and see how they were captured, etc. And we may be able to do a little recorded piece and perhaps include that in a video or a future podcast episode if we end up doing some more. But it's all down to how it's received and what you think of it. I'm happy to do some. I think it'll be a great opportunity. And also, whilst I'm here, I can have a little chat with you and let you know what I've been up to. So I eventually got out with the little Nikon 8400. I've had this camera for a little while. I have used it once or twice, but I've not really done anything properly with it. When I first got it, I was following a guy on Instagram that also was using one, and I was commenting on some of his photos, and I told him that I just got one. He said to me that the camera does tend to overexpose a little bit, so it might be worth dialing in a bit of exposure compensation, which I did, but I didn't realise I did it without my glasses. I'd gone the wrong way, so the shots that I was hoping to underexpose, I overexposed even more. So the results that I got from that first outing with the camera was not particularly brilliant. There was a couple that I managed to rescue, and I'm hopefully going to be showing some images alongside this podcast episode, so you may well be looking at those now. But yeah, so cracking little camera. I didn't really, when I've sort of been out with it at other times, I hadn't really sort of fallen in love with it or warmed to it greatly. And I was thinking I might just move this on and not pursue it. But then at the weekend just gone, I went out and took some photos of my own for the March in Motion project, and it was a bit of a damp and dreary sort of day. I thought, I'll take the little Nikon out. So I went up to the top of town where there's a big open space, and they were actually holding a park run event. So I thought, great, this would be the ideal opportunity to, particularly with it being a bit miserable as well, to get some nice motion shots. So I knocked the shutter speed down to about 1/60th or 100th of a second, and did some panning shots of the runners coming past. Obviously, the various sort of different people were at the event, so there were some people running very fast and some not quite so fast. So good mix of speeds and shutter values to play with to try and get something that looked quite reasonable. And I deliberately, whilst I was there, I deliberately turned the screen on the back of the camera is not brilliant, but I turned it round so that I couldn't chimp all the time. So I was literally shooting doing one shot, moving on to the next, without actually looking at what I captured until I got home. There was, it's quite close to a sort of fairly busy road as well, so there was the opportunity to get some moving vehicles, which was pretty good. And on the way back, I got a couple of street shots as well, which one or two of them came out okay, I suppose. But yeah, I actually used it, and I must say I was reasonably impressed. So I'm not sure I will be moving it on now. I might be keeping that camera and doing a little bit more with it. I will take it out if I get some time this weekend, I might take it out for another little outing, see how we get on with it. But yeah, I've eventually got round to using it, which is quite amazing. I've had it a good few months and I've only literally fired it a few times. So that's good news, and I do propose to get out with it a bit more. So I've been doing that. I've been really, really busy. Aside from that, it's very busy at work at the moment. As you may or may not know, I work in the motor trade, and March is a registration month, so there's lots of vehicles coming in for servicing and MOTs. I work in the service department at a dealership. So yeah, I've been very, very busy, been sort of getting home later than usual, and lots and lots on. So I haven't had an awful lot of camera time, but the good news is I think it's this weekend the clocks are changing, so we will be gifted with a little bit more daylight, so fingers crossed about that. But if you've been listening along to this far, thanks ever so much for listening to this episode. Please let me know what you think. I'd love to have some feedback from you. Do you think it's a good idea? Is there anything specifically you'd like me to talk about? Any mentions that you'd like me to include? Anything up and coming that might be of interest to other people? Just let me know. And if you're interested in taking part in the podcast, please also give me a shout, and we can get something together and draw up a little episode and have a chat. So in the meantime, thanks ever so much for listening. I will catch you in another video or another podcast episode soon. But please, if you have any of those motion shots, please forward them to me. My email address is tjb500@hotmail.co.uk, and I will feature them in an up and coming episode, or either in the podcast or in a video. So yeah, let me know. Thanks guys, look after yourself, keep shooting, see you soon, bye bye.